Should I do like a YouTube video in which I read out my entire thread or something? Like, like an audio book that you can go to bed with and passively acquire mapping knowledge? That sounds so fucked up.
What, like learning mapping knowledge in your sleep?
Practically, and randomly every few minutes I will moan excessively. Cause it gives you good dreams, right?
It's kind of interesting dreams.
Oh god, why? Why do I get ideas like this? Actually, this is hard because like, oh no, fuck that. I mean, alternatively, I don't even have to increase the spacing. I could just use multiple patterns. Like, flonk, flonk, and then one up here or something. Wouldn't be too bad. I do want a consistent distance between them, though. So it would be like... I think I would hit the upper end of the grid like this, though. Yeah. Yeah, that's too high. Let's do it over here. Maybe that helps. That does help. Oh boy. I need more tea. Let me check. Maybe it collides with the hit thingy bar. It doesn't! It doesn't. As long as the center of your object is like not on the very edge of this, it shouldn't collide. That cup is huge. That's why we call it a flower pot. It is fucking huge. Well, but yeah, it is fucking huge. Huge cups. Keeper. Oh god. Why am I Twitch slanging? Okay. But yeah, I did map this before. Not very, like, appealingly, but it worked, I guess. It was 2 years ago. So I'm not particularly proud of what I did there. Bray. I keep hearing Bray. Or does he say pray? He probably says pray. Fucking Bible fag. Whoa, did you just insult my religion? My religion.
But Jenny, eternity is at stake.
Eternity is at stake, Alva. Did you know? Oh god. Why'd I keep doing that?
Should you tell them the backstory? Or have you done that?
No, I'm not gonna tell the backstory on stream. That would be mean. I don't want to ruin other people's, like, online reputation. Well, yeah, it is funny, but it's like... it doesn't belong here. It really doesn't belong here right now. I guess this does kind of work. The other person does not sound like Peppy. I'm sorry. Other person, come here. Take off this thing.
What?
Hi, other person.
They sound like who?
Don't mind it.
Okay.
That is not Peppy indeed. That is slightly not Peppy. If I'd ever get a Twitch like partnership, I would definitely use this one as one of my custom emotes. If he didn't if Peppy wouldn't take offense to it, I would just use it because it's so good. It's the Peppy Allure 64 PNG file, and that's one of my favorites. It's so good. Are we doing this pattern again, which I didn't do in ages because it's slider leniency. We're doing blankets, boys, and not boys. Oh fuck. Oh, that's good. Poppy? Yeah, Peppy. Fine. Also, a blanket is if you arrange a slider or generally another object so that it curls around the approach circle of the previous or following object. In this case, this is a blanket because the approach circle aligns with the slider border of 1. It's a pretty apparent blanket, but you could also blanket it like this, so that it basically, the orientation point is within the slider. But that is a blanket. Or at least what it's called in Osu. I don't really know. Or in Oz. Welcome to Oz, by the way. Also, yes, blankets make things look very tidy. So they can be pretty good. They're not, like, you shouldn't focus on them super much, but they're pretty good. This looks stupid. Nobody really cares how Oz is pronounced. Except for Pappy. Thank you very much for this very constructive comment. I'm just saying it, I'm not meaning to mock it, it's just I kind of felt like I should read that out in that voice for some reason. Because that is my welcome to Oz voice. Osu. Osu is my favorite video game, and I find it very appealing because it has all my favorite waifus in it, in the backgrounds, which I then dim and then say I love them. Thank you, Pappy. What?
Don't mock the weebs.
I like mocking weebs.
Okay, fine. Don't mock them too much.
Self-acknowledging weebs are not going to take it as much of an insult, though.
Fair enough.
At least the ones that I know that happen to be weebs, and yeah. I can actually agree that Hijiri Byakuren is pretty good looking. And also I like her clothing. I want it. Like I actually really want to cosplay like that.
I'd cosplay with you.
Raw.
Although I could use a costume.
Well, yeah. You could use a costume when you want to cosplay. That's usually pretty helpful. I heard. It's not like I ever did cosplay on a convention. Okay. I want 4 pairs of this. So I probably don't want to space them too hard. And make more about angles. Puck, puck, puck. No, that's too far. What's the difference between those? Spacing 2.0. Okay. 2.0 downwards it is then. What the fuck? Why do people post threads like that on Reddit? I mean, okay, don't mind me. There's no need to ask that. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty self-explanatory. If they wouldn't post it on Reddit, where else would they post it? Except for like maybe 4chan. In which case OP would indeed be a faggot. But on Reddit it's like... my primal urges are holding me back. I can't get with the ladies and I'm stuck in the friend zone. Hello, whoa, person. What up? Did I pronounce that correctly? Like, whoa! Like, yo! Yo! Yo, what up, Grill? What up, Grill? I don't know, you tell me, what up?
I'm getting blinded by the light.
Come on. Like, come up with something that's like... You know, burn me back or something.
Yeah, we should definitely go outside today before it gets.
That's not a pretty good burn.
No, burn. Why burn?
This is a rivalry, if you haven't noticed yet.
Oh, I haven't noticed.
You're awful. You're really awful at this sometimes. We must improve your smack talk.
No, no.
Further. Improve it further. Also, fuck this shit because I can't see the object that is... I just want to be able to see both the follow point and the object distance properly. It's like, why must this be?
Ooh.
Yes, both of us are confirmed magical grills.
We are?
Yeah, we are. Did you forget about the LGBT superpowers?
Oh yeah. That's good.
You can only have one LGBT member on your team because otherwise that would be...
OP. I think the term was.
Yeah, some people are just fucking retarded. Like Riot Games, sometimes. Rather, Riot Games. The best company to work for, ever. In gaming
Oh, wow.
history.
This Hydra is strong.
Hydra?
Yeah. Levnia. He kicks my ass.
Looks pretty big.
Yeah, it has how much health? 3 million? 3,400,000. Kicks my ass.
I don't like high approach rates. But that is, well, mostly me because like... Also, how do I do this? I don't want to rotate it like that. Oh yeah, like this, and then I rotate it. Minus 60, not enough. Minus 90, also not enough. Minus 120, perchance enough. Minus 180 is definitely too much. Minus 150 also seems like too much. Minus 135, perchance, maybe, perhaps. Yeah, I can live with these aesthetics. Also, my silence in hashtag Osu was about me asking what the fuck, like what the fuck the Google search results for Lokta were. Google images, that is. And let me tell you what it is. It's mostly people like editing things with mustaches or like Nazi insignias and everything. And it's like, what the fuck? I mean, I understand what they're trying to say, but it's like, I was just looking for a picture of Locked so I could make like one of those Twitch face thingies. Which I did now make, but it took me a fair bit of scrolling to get it. I'm actually not sure if he's much of a cunt. I just feel like he's very used to people always being absolutely retarded, so he always assumes the worst. Which, well, that comes from being in public spotlight, because, like, you know what kind of shit people talk about him. It's like, sure, he really can make extremely bad decisions. I'm not gonna deny that. Sometimes he does extremely dumb decisions. Also, I don't think it was him that silenced me. It was probably like some sort of new GMT whose name I don't even know. Like, yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, Locked used to make a few questionable decisions. I'm just trying not to hold that against him as a person, because really, I understand what it's like to be kind of hated upon and everything. So yeah, trying to be empathetic on the internet. That sounded pretty stupid.
Empathic. Isn't it empathic, not empathetic?
I like being pathetic, okay?
No. Oh, never mind.
It's okay. Can I do this? Or does -5 work better? Probably does work better, actually. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. People hate on moderators and public figures as a person rather than as their function as this public person. Like when Garvin unranked Last Journey Home, that was because he was actually like the only QAT that was around, and they really wanted to unrank it over that slider. I was like, nobody dared to touch it or speak about it for the entirety of the week, and then they rushed it at the end, and they even called up Penn at work like multiple times at his day job, the thing that he actually earns his living with. They would call him up and try to make him go online on OSU to unrank the map. And so like Garvin didn't know anything about the map. He probably didn't even get to look at it because it was so rushed. And he was also at work at the time. Like Garvin was at his day job, Penn was at his day job, and everybody got called up, and then Garvin had to unrank it without even really knowing what it was about. Just because otherwise people would go apeshit on the team. At least that is what I have gathered. A few people are. Actually, most of it was around April, like that I got to know about. And yeah, people would attack Garvin as a person. And well, I mean, I guess you could in one aspect, which would be that he partook in something that he had no idea about, because the slider really wasn't much of a problem. But, I mean, I'm not unhappy with the solution that I came up with, but the slider was not much of a problem, and the issue is that he didn't know what was going on, but he was still supposed to do it anyway. And that was the problem in this situation. And then people kept attacking him as a person and everything. It was stupid. Well, look, somebody's begging for a timeout. Somebody got what I wanted. Yeah, somebody didn't indeed get that what they wanted. I think they're not happy right now. This probably overlaps, so I'm going to change it. Like, oh, actually it doesn't. So I'm still going to move it a little bit. Minus, no, like 7, and we move it up here. That should be okay. Can we do the -60 in this? Oh, first copy it, then do the rotating. Can we do the -60? Okay, we can do this with a -60, maybe, perchance, perhaps, maybe, hopefully. we're not gonna run out of space. I don't know what a Dream Theater song is. To be fair, I don't know that band, group, or whatever. Then again, I don't really listen to that much music on my own. Which people would suspect I would do because I'm known for mapping. But I don't.
I have a very narrow taste of music, I think.
Narrow? Me?
Narrow indeed.
Wow, are you trying to insult me?
Jenny, look at this one. Murgle Gurgle. Murgle Gurgle.
Oh, that's a Murloc. Is it a hat?
No, it's a Jurdle, that's the thing. It's a Murgle Jurdle.
What did I do on the other version for this? Oh, that thing. Yeah, that's... I guess it works, but it's like clunky. This is going to be so much work for the timing sections. Because it's basically half a minute of the song I made in the last hour or something. And the timing sections will take like 45 minutes. Which I believe I'm going to do off stream because there's just really not anything I could talk about. Should I do more triangles? That is the question. Alvo, should I do more triangles?
It's up to you. I know nothing about mapping. You know this.
Yeah, fuck the mapping aspect. More triangles?
Okay, fine.
Do you like triangles?
I like hexagons.
Do you like triangles? No.
And octagons. Triangles are okay.
Did I just hear the word octagon?
What's wrong with octagons?
With 8 awesome angles and 8 fantastic sides. Octagons are my favorite shape. You're not catching the reference?
No, I'm not catching the reference.
You're horrible. Pum 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 pum. Okay, that should actually that could work. How much did I rotate this? 30? 30. Jawohl. Guten Tag. 13. Just a question, do you like Echoes and then cooperation test streams and maps like Time Freeze and Magus, Night Fever and the Empress? I actually don't know those maps. I know Time Freeze and it's like... The streams are okay, but like the sliders, he's got issues with those because it's just using way too much slider leniency. Like people can just snap to the start of the slider a lot of the time and then just go out of it, and that's just not really good, I think. If you're gonna use slider leniency, you have to factor like in that the person is going to slip out early, which means that you need to compensate for it in some way, be that through an angle or increased spacing to the next node. And that is just not happening. That's what I don't like about many people's maps. Also, what I noticed about the Time Freeze map is that he had those spaces in the streams that had like 5 really pressured beats, like in which both the guitar and the drum would be loud. And those should be the hardest parts. And for those he just used 2 1/4 sliders that play like in a line. Actually, let me dig that up. I'm almost certain I can find this. Firstly, this is an issue, like things like this slider, which is a thing that I meant. That is an active-passive hit sounding issue, because the start of this slider does not have any hit sounds on it. And firstly it's on a red tick, which is like the weaker beat in this part of the song, because like the main rhythm is going on 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. And this slider basically starts on the weaker one, ends on the stronger one. You hear that, right? You have this 1-1 whistle pattern which goes on the background, like on the music, which basically goes like this. And that is an issue because this slider basically starts on one of the weak notes that don't do anything right now. It's just a filler note, basically. I mean, sure, it's in the stream, but like this note doesn't have a standout function, so there is no no reason in just holding it and stopping what you're doing right now. And then the end of the slider has 2 hit sounds on it, because it is it is an even white tick. It's the 4th white tick in this stanza. I think it's called stanza. Which means if you have the clap there, then that usually means that this is the most pressured beat in the song at this moment, or in this section rather. Since it is both a 1-1 beat, which falls onto the main rhythm with the whistles, and falls onto the 2-1 clap, that means this note should be the strongest, but since it is the end of a slider, it's absolutely neglected, because as we know, or should know, you don't click the end of a slider. Which basically means you do this, wait 1 beat after the main beat, and then start going again. Which is not really good, because it's like, you're supposed to click on the rhythm, not 1/4 after the strongest beat. It doesn't really work. And that's the thing, also here. You have these 4 beats here, and 4 beats here, which are really pressured. They all have a bonus clap, but the thing is, they don't play much different, because they're just the same notes as the rest. They're the same, they're just slightly more curved in this case, because he's doing the turnaround, which means they work somehow. Like, they're not totally bad, but they're still not really properly emphasized. And this part is like, I understand why, because it just had a strong stream part. So it's like you change it from into this, which means you put more, like you draw more emphasis to the 1-1 beats, which is the main rhythm. That's not too bad, but the thing is, you didn't really do it before, so it feels a little out of place. Then, this slider doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because in the previous pattern, you were focusing on the 1-1 rhythm. In this pattern, or rather this combo, you are not doing that. You're basically just ignoring the last 4 beats of the combo, of the stream rather. You're just ignoring the last 4 beats and holding it there. Which is, like this is what you're doing basically. This is what you're making the map to be. You just have these 3 ticks that are entirely unplayed. And it's like, I understand why it's for resting purposes, but it doesn't work with the song's pressure at all. And that's a big problem that many people have in their maps, because they just really don't like care. As long as there's a hit sound on the tick, I guess it's okay, fine. Like that kind of stuff. I kind of wasn't in this one. Oh yeah, here's the thing that I was talking about in terms of slider leniency before. This slider, the 2 in this one, you don't finish that. Because, we talked about this before, because of slider leniency. You go here, this is what you do, Then you go into this slider, but you don't have to finish it because the slider hitbox is like this big. So then, because speed is kind of high, you just want to get out of it as fast as possible to gain more advantage in time. So you just ignore the last third of this entire slider and ignore the time it's supposed to bind your cursor, and you just slip out. The slider doesn't really play like anything, and you go to the next node. And this kind of stuff is just really fucking annoying if you're aware of it, because then you don't want to play a lot of maps anymore, which doesn't make it a bad thing to know. It's just, it shows you how many flaws many maps have, because that's the general thing with being aware of what you're doing. So yeah, slider leniency is kind of annoying. Also with these sliders here, you have it again, which I will do the screen thing again, and I will show it again, because man, these things you need to show multiple times for people to understand what you're saying. You move here, here, here. That's fine, but then you go here, you go this far, because you don't have to finish the slider. Then you go over here, go this far, because you don't have to finish the slider. Then you go here, and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. If you don't want people to play the slider and just flick it, like, then at least make it feel intentional, rather than just weakening the map for no purpose. Like, the map is fucking brutally hard, but there is no reason to make it, like, unreasonably easier just because, like, I don't know, you want to have some variety. If you want to have variety, you can do them in different ways, in terms of, like, patterning things differently, making the angles different, like the shaping and everything. You could have one combo be more flow reliant. Like, say, you could, if you wanted it to be more relaxed, this combo, you could do it like, I don't know, like this. You could start like this, because then you have go through it like that, just in one steady angle, and then you have the square. I mean, the distance in between those objects doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now, but you get what I mean in this example. And I will do it again, and I will do it again, because it's annoying me. Oh, that's not what I wanted. In this example, you do this, which is one steady angle, and then you would snap out of this into that, into this, and play the objects one by one, because that is what snapping does, and that is what squares encourage. Squares are for 1 by 1 nodes, not a group of nodes most of the time, at least not in how people play them. And that is just really fucking annoying, because it doesn't bind your cursor properly. And I think a good map is supposed to lead you through it, rather than have you, like, be like, okay, go figure out your own style within this map, because this map is not defined enough to know what it wants you to do. And that's not what a level is supposed to be. You don't want a glitchy as fuck RPG level either, do you? I mean, sure, it's fun to glitch through walls every once in a while, but like, if you want to have a polished, like, product, you don't want those things in there. You want the game to be good because of the things you intentionally put into it, not because of how people can exploit it in funny, goofy ways. I mean, sure, Goat Simulator is a thing, but like, you wouldn't want to play Goat Simulator all your life. It would be fucking annoying. Okay. Also, the stream is going to be archived as a Twitch past broadcast. Like, it is going to be archived as a past broadcast, and I can probably upload it onto YouTube as well, because I'm recording all those things locally, but like, yeah, I'm gonna put that up somewhere. I'm not going to write an entire mod for anything anymore. Like that, it just takes a lot of time. I wouldn't mind doing like Skype calls with people about their maps, because that's just like then I actually have the one-to-one feedback. Then I can ask them, did you understand what I mean? Should I explain it a different way? And I don't want to type 6,000 words just to realize that somebody doesn't really understand the way I'm putting things. Like, jokes aside, my favorite mappers of all time are Lesyu, Tsuka, and Sprosiv, and Glass. Sprosiv and Lesyu are the number 1 rank, and then number 2 rank would be Glass, and then comes Tsuka at 3. Yeah, I'll have my mapper tier list or something. Sprosiv is also known as Spro these days. He now plays more than he maps, which is a little sad. The single best map in Osu. The single best map in Osu is a hard question. Like, if you asked me for the most iconic maps, in my mind I would have it for different categories. I mean, I have a list of maps that I really, really like, that I think everybody should play. Which is this one that I just now linked into the chat. Those are really nice. But yeah, most influential maps, I guess for me, and most impressive ones would be Sprosiv's Heavenly Moon, Lesyu's Cry for Eternity, also Lesyu's Cigarettes in the Theater. Those are all from 2011, I think. And then Neuronesia, if that is how you pronounce it, by Skystar. And for 2012 would be Anhedonia by Muya. Those would probably be the most inspirational maps for me. Also, a map I really liked was Lemon Tree by MM201. Lemon Tree is a really fucking good map, that's the thing. Like the MM201. Sure, the most crazy one was like just fucking stupid, specifically back in the day, because nobody ever thought of trolling maps back then, but like the actual Lemon Tree was a really nice map.
To that back in, or miming, what's it called, miming, back to that when I was like 12.
Miming?
Yeah, you know, you sing along, you did a lip sync to it.
I can't lie. But this is a remix thing. It is by DJ Mars.
Yeah, it was also one of the first CDs we owned back in the 90s.
CDs.
CD.
Jesus Christ. Praise analog media.
Yeah, that was way before the internet age. Way before.
Okay. More mapping. More fuck. Do I want to do? Yeah, I want to do these screen wide things.
Also, in 20 minutes we should go.
I hate you.
Hey, we need something to eat before like late o'clock, you know.
Late o'clock. Yeah, actually true. We should probably have some lunch sometime.
I was thinking of moving straight on to dinner.
Fair point. Let's have a gigantic orgy dinner.
Yeah. Anyway, if we need however we do it, we need something to chew on, and yeah.
Lewd.
Indeed, very lewd.
Reminds me of that pixelated picture I made of Sas and her boyfriend's hands. Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
You can look at my Twitter and find it.
Fine.
What the fuck? Either way, if you want me to look at the map or something, then it's probably better to send me a forum PM, because those I can actually look at later on, rather than the Twitch chat, which vanishes as soon as I log out. And I don't particularly plan on archiving my Twitch chats.
Oh yeah, I actually have a Twitter account. Should I start following you?
You should start following my Twitter account. You may also shout it out loud within the world. Hey, person that happens to be my girlfriend and not Peppy. Come here.
What am I supposed to do now?
Tell Twitch chat which Twitter handle to follow in order to receive high quality content.
I'm not doing this. You're gonna have to do this yourself.
Fuck you.
I don't even know your fucking tweet. Oh, at Jenny.cat, is that it?
Perchance that is indeed it. For
Yeah.
both Ask It
Post
M
it in
and
chat instead. It's not like people are gonna.
for both Ask It M and Twitter, follow me. Definitely. Something. Fuck me. I shouldn't say this. Pong, 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 pong. Do I want to go and put it in the bottom corner? Do I want to do this?
So how far back did I have to go?
On my Twitter, it's on the replies, not the individual tweets, you fucking internet noob.
Hey, I never used Twitter.
Why do you have
So
one then?
how do I see the reply thingies?
I haven't used German in 2 months, and to be honest, I don't like it at all. I could probably still use it. It's like, I don't like the language. It just feels so hollow to me, but even though that is mostly due to my upbringing and not so nice memories and everything, but still, that I don't really like the language. Like, I really don't. It's probably still okay, but I don't really know. Pum. I don't want anybody to talk to me in German, please. Like, it's not nice. The only people for which I can tolerate it is like my cousins and maybe Tom94, because I can still talk to them in English. Like, they can reply in German, but I talk to them in English, which is... Sure, it sounds a little weird as a concept, but it works out. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Or as I would say, da, 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 da. Then something anime happens. And then... Oh god, why? Why do I remember this map? There you go. Da 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 da. Oh wow, geometric shapes. This doesn't look like a very standard DragonForce map, does it? Like, not what people would call a LSU map. I mean, they would call it that anyway, but like... Yeah. Blah. What is that even supposed to mean? Somebody's burned out on my stream. You're telling me, the person that's been talking for hours, that you are burned out. I mean, I understand watching the same stream and the same person talk for hours on end, it can be pretty, like, at some point it gets repetitive, but like, don't tell me anything about being burned out. Song in his hand or something.
Jenny,
what?
they patched the waystone drop rate thing.
What?
They seem to have patched the waystone drop rate.
How do you mean? They didn't do any patches.
Yeah, but they don't drop.
Yeah, then you're just unlucky right now.
They don't respawn.
Maybe somebody else is farming them.
Then I can't see them.
Then somebody else is probably farming them. Smith the Beast?
Smith the Beast.
What does that even mean?
Contagious spanking. It's not Swedish, it's some kind of Nordic language, but it's not Swedish.
What the fuck?
Could be, I guess it could be like something else, but I don't know.
I don't really know about my bitrate, to be fair. I do not have like very stable, like, I am not set on my stream settings because I don't know anybody that actually understands their shit and could help me out with it. So I'm like fucking around with it whenever I get any sort of feedback on it, and I just try to make sense with it at some point in time. So if you could perchance give me advice on my stream settings, feel free to hit me up at myemail.com.
Why do you sound like an ad every time?
I didn't drop any frames at my upload. It's all
Yeah.
drop frames 0.00%. And you must be at fault, consumer son. Consumer son, it is your fault to this. No.
What's going on?
I just felt the incentive to do my Japanese impressions. Wow. Yeah, watching 2 streams at the same time is usually not very, you know, good for your internet. Well, they are, most certainly. On our internet, we would most definitely not have any issues with it, for we live in Sweden and have 100 megabit per second as an upload as well as a download, which makes our internet nearly flawless. You could say we got Google Fiber. I don't think we do, but it's pretty similar. Google Fiber goes up to 1 gigabit, right?
Probably does. I know you can get.
We should totally get that to make like people jealous.
Yeah, the thing is, it's built in here, so there's like we have like one fiber connection to this. But if you live in other places, you can actually have like a gigabit, 2 gigabit per second.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not sure if it's useful at this point though.
No,
In the future it will be.
it's not very useful except for like taunting people that have.
Yeah, like I have faster internet than you have, but 100 megabit is pretty adequate right now. I mean, we download an HD movie in 15 minutes?
Less.
Yeah, less. Maybe 20 if it's a bad connection.
Yo! This shit is so wrong on so many motherfucking levels.
Yep.
Huh?
Is it?
What kind of shit are we talking about?
I don't know.
I think I was just picking up on the Boku no Pico reference. If you have any issues with my beautiful voice, you might as well fuck the dick off. Thank you very much, viewer son. Viewer son. Go fuck yourself. Eloquence level. Pretty good. Your eloquence level has risen to pretty good. Wow, I feel honored. .0 spacing. Also, I think somebody asked why I'm not using distance snap before. And the thing is, I'm not using distance snap, but the thing is like, I'm not really using snap, I'm just placing everything manually and look at the distance multiplier at the top. It's usually what I go with, and I orient with the follow points between the objects. I want the follow points to have the same distance to the object that they come from as to the one that they are at. And as you can see, this is pretty much exactly that right now. You have the circle, like 1/2 note before the note, and we're just barely not touching this, / barely touching it. And the same is the case down here. I actually really like this pattern. Oh. Yeah. I think I'm stuck.
What do you do?
I don't know. That's the exact thing I'm trying to say. I have no idea what I'm doing anymore. I'm not gonna map the vocals on this because that is a weird rhythm right now. And this part of the song. I would argue distance snap is not very important, but like remotely consistent distance spacing is important. That's the thing. Distance snap is just a much easier way to get used to the concept of it. Well, like once you get to a certain point, you don't snap anymore. It's just get a feeling for things, or at least you're supposed to. Most people probably do not have that still, but it's like, shush. You're gonna get there eventually, hopefully, maybe sometime. You probably should, because otherwise you're not gonna improve. What is distance snap? Well, the thing is, I'm not actually using constant spacings, but I use alike spaced spacings. Yeah, alike spaced spacings. Nice spacing. Thanks, Double Lift. I just want to get the same amount of pressure onto two nodes, which is why I illustrated the slider leniency things before. Because basically, visual distance is different from effective distance, which is again different if you're using a slider. Because it all depends on the direction you're going in and which pattern you are in currently and what is coming up next. And the transition between those patterns is really important, because that's basically what you're wanting to snap people to. Within one pattern, you can have snappy beats, but it's like you usually want it to be remotely one shapey, like one overall shape. You want it to be more flowy, back forth-ish. And then to the next pattern, you want to have a break in how it goes. Which in this case, you have pong, 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 3 individual notes. 5 is a very strongly pressured note as well, but you then are forced to slow down because it's a slider. And you're also going into a curved motion rather than a straight motion, which is basically grabbing attention by 2 different things, because it's not like the circles at all. Got what I mean, right? Got what I mean. At least I hope so.
We should check that the store hasn't closed or anything. Could you do that?
How do I do that?
Well, check it online maybe?
I'm currently busy entertaining the masses of the internet that have a very high taste and humor, as well as a productive map circle placement things.
Fine, be unproductive.
Fearless we stand indeed. Let us stand fearless together. Me people. This is AR9 CS5, I think HP 7.
Yeah, it has open, it's open to 7, so we should get going.
Now?
In 7 minutes? Takes a little while to get there, and I don't want to have like 30 minutes to be in the store.
I hate you.
I don't make the times, they do.
I don't know why Leslie used AR8 in his maps. Like, I don't really know exactly, I never really asked him. I just feel like it fits because lower AR usually, like, it emphasizes the patterns more. You see more notes, your cursor is naturally going more in a flowing motion rather than a one-by-one object-by-object snapping playstyle. Like, the suggested playstyle goes more and more smooth the lower the AR is. And also back in the day, at least the day that Les you grew up with the game, usually you would have AR 628. 2010 you would still have coupled AR with OD, so if you used 7, which most people did, you would have an OD of 7. Most people didn't really have super accurate timing back then, even though it was still enforced, but like pretty wobbly still. So he went with 8, probably because he was just used to it, and maybe because he wanted people to actually have more emphasis on the streams, because that is what it works like for me at least. I believe that that is how it goes and how it's supposed to be. Banned forever. I don't think there was ever maximum, like there was ever the max to 8. Also, fuck snapping playstyles. Just, yeah, on a personal note, fuck snapping. I don't like it. I understand why you do it, but it's like, good maps shouldn't, no. Snapping is like, people usually use it because it's easier to get through things and be more consistent with it, but it's like, I prefer if you can be flexible with things. Like, I've always tried to be able to vary my entire playstyle, be that which keys I click, or how, like whether I use a mouse or a tablet, or in which way I use them. Like, I can snap nodes, I can flow nodes, whether I'm tapping, mouse clicking, keyboard clicking, or whatever. I know it's not a choice by how you start at the start. Usually people all start out with like something that is super smooth and doesn't really work for them, so then they go to snappy because it's on the other end of the spectrum and it's pretty much easier to control most of the time. And yeah, most people just stick with that because not too many maps actually make you like have the choice, because snapping is just so much easier on many maps. And people hate it when I like do all these angular things in my maps, those sharp turns and everything, because snapping doesn't do that well if you involve closer spacing and like sharp angles into jumps. Which is a little conceptual in the way I'm talking about it right now, but yeah. Something like that. I should write an article about this, but somebody should pay me for that. Somebody should indeed pay me for that. I am up for sponsors. Oh god, that sounds so wrong. Alva, say something, stop me.
For what? Gaining sponsors?
Yeah, gaining sponsors for dumb shit.
That would be good, wouldn't it?
Well, it would be good, but it's like, yeah. Whoa, that's what it is like.
Yeah, but more money, right?
You fucking money hungry slut. Huh? I don't mind that. It's just I was trying to make a case here. Difference between snapping and flowing also makes difficult calculation harder. Yeah, it does. And that's the thing. The new autoplay is very snappy. Like, it's really snappy. I wish we could have different autoplays. like simulators of different playstyles, so to speak, just to like see the average calculated data on those playstyles, which well is a little hard, so you would need to pick like good examples of players and make an average out of it and not movement analyzing and stuff, which is not very easy. It's really not easy to do that. Cursor dancing auto, for example. If anybody remembers Steak Johnson, that was basically that. For the VX difficulties, I would like to do that again, but I'm not sure if I have the mapping style for it anymore. They're pretty brutal. I mean, I still map extremely brutal maps, but it's like, it's different. Okay, fine. We need to go. We need to acquire food. So I guess that means I shall be leaving Twitch alone, leaving my internet fame behind, you could say. Becoming a normal human being for a few minutes of my daily life.
Jenny, you're too dramatic.
Oh, this means a lot to me. Okay, I am on the internet. You don't. Do you see? You're alone. You're playing World of Warcraft, and you're like in your nerdy thing there, and I'm like, I'm a famous example of what an internet citizen should be like. I'm very social.
Yeah. Okay. Let's put it like that.
This is
You're of course right. Always.
What?
Nothing.
I always am right though. Wow. Good stuff. I can't really tell anybody how to learn to map or anything. It takes a long time. Like, I can't really tell them the basics, so to speak, I think. Cause like, I guess I could, but it's like I don't have any written articles. I don't have any plans on how hard I'm gonna make a map. To be fair, I do not plan these things. It just kind of comes out as it goes, which it's supposed to, because like I don't want to make a whole concept of a div before I do it. So, yeah. I don't really know. It's probably going to be very hard though, because that's just usually what I do. And the guitar solo is going to happen like at some point. Yeah. This point is where it's going to be very interesting, because then the guitar goes wild nuts and I'm going to be very heavy on the angling and everything. So that's what I'm going to do. Now we see, I'm going to submit the map, which means I need to manually edit some entries about this first. Because this was originally, like the OSZ file was originally by who? Dax Mr. X or something? Something like that. So I'm going to submit this like now. And then people can look at the entire thing, but I'm going to let the stuff run through anyway. Oh, for fuck's sake. This is annoying. What do I do? The files all seem fine. Oh, okay. This one was not saved properly. -1. Save like that. Change folder name, take away the number. Now it should work. Fuck me. This is stupid. No. Okay, this is just blatantly dumb. Kind of upload it from this one. It keeps resetting the set ID. I'm sorry. Okay, we'll need to figure this out later. Oh, for fuck's sake, not the Also Live channel. But yeah, for now I'll just let it run through once and then I'll go offline for the moment and everything, and maybe I'll go do this later again or sometime soon. I'd like to do it on a more frequent basis actually, because streaming is actually fun to do. People are actually interacting with you. But the thing is, if you're just alone, it's kind of annoying and boring. Because you're basically thinking like, should I even talk like now? Because nobody seems to give a fuck anyway. 1 minute and I'm done. That too. That's pretty decent. It probably is cold outside, but yeah, I'm done now, and hey, shush.
No. Come on.
But yeah, I'm done now. Perchance see people later if they still want to watch me do stuff. Also, it's pretty helpful when you actually PM me if you want me to do a stream when I'm mapping, because that reminds me that I can do that and that somebody's actually going to give a fuck. That's helpful. So yeah, that's that for now. Bye.